A very good evening. Thank you for staying with us on Republic. I'm Deepthi Sachdeva. We begin this edition of the news with what's been happening in China. That's what the spotlight is all about. Because do remember right now, the world is really concerned. The world is concerned with the kind of reports that are coming in out of China. The numbers, many say, are being underestimated. China is not being truthful to tell us what really is the ground situation. Now, for days now, Republic has been showing you the total COVID chaos that China is witnessing. We've been questioning as to what is China really hiding. It's a leaked Chinese government document now that has surfaced where almost 250 million people in China may already have been affected by COVID-19 in just the last 20 days. This is after the zero COVID policy was diluted in the first week of the month, according to Radio Free Asia, that is citing this leaked government document circulating on the social media. And in the 20-minute meeting of China's National Health Commission, as per this leaked data, about 248 million people were infected from the 1st of December to the 20th. This essentially means close to about 18% of China's population. And going by this same report, the data on COVID cases released by the government officials on December the 20th is different from the reality, as nearly estimates say. About 37 million could have been infected. Also, it's a senior Chinese journalist who told Radio Free Asia that this document is genuine. It's been leaked by someone who attended the meeting and who's acting in public interest. What you see on your screen is one such video, and many such videos, remember, you will see on the social media. The moment you type China plus COVID, a lot of this is what the Chinese authorities want to really hide. But this really tells you the kind of situation, whether it's hospital beds or even funeral homes now that are running out of capacity. Abhishek also joining us. He has more insight into this report right now. You know, Abhishek, this is startling to say the least, and extremely worrying. You know, if the data is to be believed, if this data is to be believed and if this data is genuine, Abhishek, this is a truth that the world needs to know, and know sooner rather than later.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, the problem with Chinese is they are so opaque as a society, and of course the Chinese communist state are absolutely non-transparent and dishonest when it comes to sharing information, and that is the reason why this pandemic is spread and you know, attain the scale that it did worldwide, because the Chinese were absolutely untruthful about the spread in the initial days in way back in 2019 and 2020. So that is all the more reason why all these pictures that are coming in, Deepthi, we are seeing them essentially through global media and social media platforms, and not from, you know, typically official Chinese sources. Remember, yesterday, for example, in the daily briefing that the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs does, their message was everything is normal, everything is in control. But these pictures really call the bluff and are to the contrary. And that's all the more reason the world is concerned. We should be concerned. And precaution is better than, regretting later. Having said that, these pictures, these numbers that are coming in from the Chinese, not corroborated officially, speak of a situation which is clearly not in control, unlike what the Chinese official foreign ministry spokesperson wants the world to believe. In fact, if you go by some of these social media reports, the situation is even more alarming, to a level where, for example, yesterday I was going through some information, and again, I must add again, the Chinese the officially Chinese continue to deny it, but then there are reports that there have been mass casualties, the daily death count is touching almost 5,000, and that millions are getting infected in every 24-hour news cycle. And the reason is obviously because of the Chinese model, which was feted really around the world, the so-called zero COVID policy, which has really backfired now that the Chinese, after suffered economically, want to not clamp down on economy any further. And and that's why they have done a U-turn. Also, it's possible that the zero COVID policy was essentially a political policy, Deepthi. Remember, in the month of October, we had that very important once in 5 years National Congress of the Chinese Communist Party, in which Xi Jinping was elected for another 5-year term. Unprecedented. It has not happened since Mao, and that gives you an idea of the political intent that was there in following zero COVID policy. The Chinese Communist state did not want those COVID infections and the consequent possible deaths to affect in any manner Xi Jinping's chances of getting that third term. But immediately after that, everything is hunky-dory, and zero COVID policy has been withdrawn, leading to a situation where China, like the rest of the world, with low immunity levels because the lockdowns had sort of shielded the population artificially for the last couple of years, is now really facing the brunt of a variant which is even more virulent than the earlier ones. So, though of course it's early stage and we don't know exactly how it impacts the body, and that's a matter of history around the world, including in India. But the Chinese really are paying a price for some wrong policy measures, wrong political policy measures, I must add, and typically, like they have always been, being opaque about numbers, about the spread, about the possibility that the virus might have already escaped and spread around the world, the variant that is, Deepthi.
Oh yes, absolutely. That's a chilling reality, Abhishek. For the moment, I thank you. But staying with the story, we can also now play out, remember, 3 videos that our team has scanned. But these 3 videos, if you look at them very closely, they will actually tell you the reality and why today the world is so worried when it comes to China. This is the first video on your screens that you're looking at. This is essentially of how there are no beds in hospitals. A lot of these patients that you see there on the streets, they're literally waiting for the treatment. A lot of them are now being administered treatment outside itself as the hospitals have begun to run out of space. The second video that you will see now on your screens is also of how funeral homes are overwhelmed. Earlier we had reported how a lot of these funeral homes were even guarded. They were heavily guarded to ensure there is just limited information that comes out. But an extremely tragic and a worrying situation right now in Beijing in particular, where funeral homes already have run out of capacity. Also now, this third video that you'll just see on your screens, there it is. It is a young woman gasping for breath, where she literally collapses after this episode of breathlessness. And again, remember, important to underscore that we are at Republic. The idea is not to spread panic, but the idea is just to put out the reality of the China COVID numbers, the China's real situation. And as the experts back here in the country say, that there is nothing to worry, only and only stay vigilant.